Welcome back, y'all, to the football showdown. Let's get into the Champions League matches, not for just today, but yesterday as well, because I really want to talk about the one yesterday to start off this video. Let's talk about Manchester United. As you all know, they were knocked out of Europe entirely, not even finishing third, finished dead last with a group of Bayern, which, no fault. They're one of the favorites to win the Champions League, so there's no shame in losing to them. But Copenhagen went through, and then Galatasaray went third. With that group, you should at least be finishing second. Third, maybe you can accept third if you played hard and, maybe things just didn't go your way. Onana had a bad game or two that cost you the qualification to Europa League. Then that's understandable. But to finish dead last, conceding 10 goals to Copenhagen and Galatasaray combined in those 4 games is unacceptable. Sorry, excuse me. In my opinion, that is a sackable offense, and it should be a sackable offense. They're not good results. You can't be knocked out of Europe entirely. That's just not the standard of Manchester United, or at least it shouldn't be. For United fans who are defending this, I don't see why. You're saying give him more time, but what has he shown you to deserve more time? I get it. Last season he did well, but look how bad the Premier League was last season. This season, the Premier League is the most competitive it's been in a long time, and he's struggling right now. But last season, he thrived in the Premier League, where teams were dropping off, had a lot of rebuilding to go through, and granted, they won a Carabao Cup, got them in the right positions, finished third. You do what you have to do, right? It doesn't matter about the other competition. You just have to get there at the end of the season. But now let's look at this season. They're sixth, I believe, in the Premier League. There's only been 3 teams other than Manchester United who have lost more games than them across all top 5 leagues. I was watching CBS Sports talk about this, and I think it was Jamie Carragher who brought it up. But there's 96 teams in all 5 of the top leagues, and there's only 3 teams out of those 96 that have lost more games than Manchester United this season. It was Burnley, it was Union Berlin, and man, I don't remember the next team. I'm trying to think. No, I can't remember. But anyway, 3 teams that have more losses than you, and then there's 90 some that have more wins than you. That's unacceptable. You can't be performing that bad and expect to keep your job. What is he showing you to get more time? Because that stat isn't good enough. You're out of Europe entirely, not just the Champions League, but you can't even compete in the Europa League because you finished dead last. So it's just shocking and should be embarrassing for all United fans. If I were the Glazers, I'm sacking him immediately. I don't care who's out there, but there has to be someone or something better than finishing bottom of a Champions League group that was that poor. I don't see how it gets better for United. Tengag was talking about how good the performance was yesterday, but was it really good, or was it just good compared to Bournemouth? Because Bournemouth was so bad that anything today would have been better. They still looked like a team that was tired, looked like a team that had no hope, like they knew that they were just going to be out, and at least keep the score line respectful. If I'm United, I'm getting rid of almost everybody on that team. The coach isn't good enough. Most of the players aren't good enough, and you can't say, well, Harry Maguire's good. Sure, he's having a good run. But are you going to win a major trophy with him? No, you're not. And that's where United fans should be thinking. It should be, well, if he's not good enough now, can he grow into it? Like Erasmus Højlund. He could grow into it. Is he there now? No, but he's what, like 20, 21? He has plenty of time to grow. Harry Maguire can't grow. He's a finished product. Harry Maguire is what you get. He's not going to get better. He's only going to get worse from here. And his best isn't good enough to win a Premier League or a Champions League, as we're clearly seeing right now. Alejandro Garnacho, is he good enough? I would say no. I think he's solid, but I get why they're backing him. He's an academy player. It's just like Liverpool fans when they back up Curtis Jones. I don't particularly like Curtis Jones, but a lot of Liverpool fans do, and they will protect him till eventually he leaves, because he's an academy player. Once you're an academy player, you're sacred to their whatever fan base you are a part of. So I get that. But outside of Højlund, I probably only keep Bruno Fernandes. He's the only one who is of decent quality. Rashford has to go. He's not good enough. He's being dropped for Garnacho. Kobe Mano. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry for butchering that. But he's okay. But he also, his stats look so much better. So I saw it on Twitter. Someone's like, he has 100% passing success rate, 100% duel successions. And it's like, dude, he had one duel that entire game. He came on and the game was over at that point. Bayern were just comfortable holding on to their 1-0 lead because the game really didn't matter to them. He also only had 9 passes. I hope you're completing 100% of your passes when you're only attempting 9. And if I remember right, they weren't anything crazy. It wasn't like he was hitting 30, 40, 50-yard passes. It was 5-yard, 10-yard, 15-yard pass, and then making a run to do a give and go or something like that, or just to switch the field real quick. It wasn't anything explosive or a key chance or a key pass that he was making. It was just doing the little stuff of keeping possession. So I mean, outside of those 3 players that I named, Bruno, Højlund, and then Kobe Mino, and that's only because I mean he's so young. He could be something we don't know yet. We haven't seen enough games of him to know what he can do. But outside of that, I'm not really trying to keep anybody else. Everyone else can go. Onana, he can go. But yeah, I mean, you get my point. Tengag has to go, and the players aren't good enough, as we saw. Let's move on to the games today. Barca lost. Barca lost, as they should have. They weren't good enough. It wasn't 100% first starting 11, but there were enough players to beat Antwerp. It's a little embarrassing. If I were a Barca fan, I wouldn't be making excuses or saying anything about that because Antwerp has 0 points going into this game, and then they come away with 3. It's nice for them. They'll take it as motivation and try and build out onto that, knowing that they beat a club as big as Barca. If I'm Barca, I'm kind of disappointed. Whether that's a full strength starting 11 or not, if you're competing for the Champions League like Barca fans think they can, you should be able to come out with those you should be able to come out with those 3 points. Man, words struggling a little bit. But let's also talk about that group. I forget the group letter, but the one with Newcastle, Dortmund, Milan, PSG. Unbelievable stuff. That was a really entertaining group. It looked like Newcastle were going to go into the second spot of the Champions League after that wonder goal by Joel Linton. Really, really well placed, but the injuries are just catching up to them. They're too tired. They put up a valiant effort. It was always going to be tough for them to get out. I saw someone say a few weeks ago, or even a month ago, that Newcastle were favorites and that they were performing bad. That was crazy. If you had Newcastle as a favorite, you're drunk on the Premier League because there's no reason to think that they were that good. At best, they were going to finish second. You probably had them anywhere from as high as second to bottom. It just depended on how much you valued the Premier League and how much you valued Eddie Howe in that squad. But no one was saying that they were favorites. PSG were definitely favorites. I probably had, if I remember correctly, I think I had PSG, Milan, Dortmund, and then Newcastle. Or, no, Dortmund were 4th and Newcastle were 3rd. So, I mean, even I only had them as high as making 3rd. So, I'm not too surprised that they didn't fail. But AC Milan turned it on in that second half. Some heroics from Fikayo Tomori in the first half led to them being able to come back and score 2 goals. Our captain, Christian Pulisic, scored a goal. If you didn't know, I'm an American, so I mean that was pretty exciting. Be able to see him get his goal and do his thing, especially with the injuries that he's been having lately. It's always good to see him score. I'm not too big of a U.S. men's national team fan, but I love Christian Pulisic. I just don't think he was good enough for the Premier League. But that's another story. Let's talk about PSG and Dortmund. PSG, I believe that they should have won that game. Dortmund were good. I won't say that they weren't. But PSG, I felt like, were more dominant, had more clear-cut chances than what Dortmund were able to provide. But both teams are happy with the draw. They both walk away with a point. That's enough to get Dortmund top spot and PSG to go through. And a really entertaining group. Probably my favorite group to watch across Europa League and the Champions League. But now let's talk about Europa League real quick. We'll wrap this video up here soon. Europa League, it is not going to be... I still have Liverpool as favorites, but there are a couple decent teams that make it more interesting to watch now. Now that Benfica are there, AC Milan are there, Shakhtar. I know they're not really a big name, but they're still interesting. I still like some of their players on there. I play FM a lot, so I know some of their players, and it'll be exciting to be able to see how they are in real life since I can't watch the Ukrainian league. But it's just exciting now a little bit more because now it's not, all right, we're playing Union Saint Gilles or whatever, the team from Belgium, and the next best team is West Ham. Like, I know they're not in it this year, but no, they are. Yeah, they are in it this year. Are they? Yeah, I believe that they are. Yeah. Okay, sorry. But yeah, instead of West Ham being one of the better teams, now it's Benfica who are one of the better teams. Now it's AC Milan who are one of the better teams. Just adds a little bit more prestige to the Europa League. Makes it more entertaining, more exciting for me to want to watch the Europa League now instead of just watching Liverpool play. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you haven't, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.